Hello, Hofstra fans, and welcome to the W. Mason Coach Report with head men's basketball coach Joe Mihalich. Coach, welcome.
That week went fast, didn't it? Here we are. I feel like we did this 10 minutes ago, and it was a week ago.
Sure did, Coach. Coach, your team's off to now a 15-3 start following road wins over William and Mary and Elon. Just a quick recap before I get to the individual games. What do you think of the week your team played last week?
The will to win. I know it sounds like a coaching phrase or a cliche or whatever, but our guys have it. They just have it. It's a wonderful thing, and when you have it, it's hard to explain it. You just feel it, you know it, but our guys have it. And I talked to a coaching buddy today, and we were talking about our teams, and he said, we got a couple of guys that when things aren't going well, they start thinking about losing. And I said, you know what, that's the beauty of our team. When things aren't going right, our guys start thinking about winning. And we're lucky to have that kind of core group that we have, and it's fun to ride that wave.
Yeah, speaking of riding the wave, your team has won 12 straight games. We talked about it last week. You're not hiding from it. It's something to really embrace what's going on with your program right now. The first game last week, you played William and Mary. Every game in the history of the Hofstra versus William and Mary series since you've been here literally are epic classics. What do you make of the series? And then we'll get to that game, but what is it about these two teams that make these games?
It's crazy. I mean, you just walk up those steps at that arena, and you just say, okay, buckle up, because there's something crazy is gonna happen. It's gonna be a last-second shot or a thriller or one way or the other. We have great games. I mean, the team's really well coached, and they got good players, and they are very good in that building, and our guys usually play pretty good in that building as well. So we just have great games with them, and that's what college basketball is all about when you have games like that.
That game specifically, you've talked about your team's will to win. That game had it maybe more than any game this year. William Mary hit about 2 or 3, maybe even 4, just almost miracle shots that almost you were like, okay, our luck's finally running out. And your team had a response every time, including the final response, the Jalen Ray three-pointer that ultimately won you the game. Is that kind of how you viewed that end of that game?
We had the game won 3 times. We had it won at the end of regulation, and they found a way to tie it up. We had it won at the end of the first overtime, at the end of the second overtime. All 3 times, William and Mary found a way to tie it up, and our guys had a lot of reasons to quit, a lot of reasons to think this isn't our night, and they were the opposite. And it's still our night. We'll still find a way, and we won in the third overtime, and it's as good a win as we've had here in a long, long time.
Jalen Ray, what do you think of his performance? 19 points, career high, coming home for him. What do you think of him? And then somebody late in that game that really played a pivotal role, Dyer with a couple big blocks. The two of them, what do you think?
Dan Tumbo. He's our answer to the block shot artist. First of all, Jalen, I'm happy for him because his mom was there, and it's only about an hour from where or maybe 30 minutes from where he played high school basketball, and he's a very good player. He's got ice in his veins. It's no big deal to him to make a shot, and he made the biggest shot of the game. And then did it again. I feel like he had a good game against Elon as well, Jalen. So happy to see him playing well, and he's one of those guys that can fly under the radar a little bit because people talk about Justin Wright Foreman and Elijah Pemberton, and Jalen comes off the bench, and he's a really good player. Jalen Ray is a really good basketball player.
And Dyer.
Danny we're just talking about it. Colin Curtin and I were just talking about him, and Danny he's happy with his role. He just wants to win. He has humble a guy as you're going to be around, because the best definition I've ever heard for humility is you don't think less of yourself, but you think of yourself less. He never thinks about himself. He always thinks about the team. He doesn't care if he scores. He just cares if we win, and he helps us win.
Odd little note from the last 2 games. Justin Wright Foreman throws in 29 points, 30 points, whatever every game. Dan Dyer, Hofstra's plus-minus leader in the last 2 games in the road trip.
As you know, analytics, I find them interesting, but I can't get too hung up on them. They overwhelm me.
And then you moved on to face Elon after a grueling game against William Mary. Team was down 8 at halftime, down 10 early in the second half. That will to win came through again. What did you guys do in that second half that allowed you to come back for that victory?
Well, I thought our guys played harder, and I thought that was spearheaded by Elijah Pemberton. I thought he just kind of said, you know what? He threw caution to the wind and just went crazy, went after every ball, and was reckless with his body, and just kind of set a tone for everybody. And we got tougher on defense, finally started to throw a couple shots in there. And, as we've been saying through this whole broadcast, we just had that will to win.
And speaking of will to win, there's a guy on your team that really constantly, everybody else talks about, everybody else, and he's the one player that's the constant through the whole season. DeJour Bowie has just been incredible all season for your team. Every game, there's that defensive play he's making where he steals the inbound or he steals the ball from the point guard, bring the ball up to court, and he did it twice against Elon. What do you see from him going game in and game out?
Yeah, I mean, you talk about being a winner. He is a winner, and he's a team-first guy. He has got as much character as anybody I've ever been around. All about the team. Great leader, has a great influence on other people. He's one of those guys, I mean, back in the day, you would say he's the E.F. Hutton guy because when he talks, every head turns, everybody listens. And that's the way he is. He just, everybody in the team loves him, and they should. And he loves everybody, and, you know, he's as good a leader as we've had.
And what's his GPA, Coach?
GPA, so are you allowed to talk about that? I mean,
sure. When it's a 3.92, you're allowed to talk about it.
You're allowed to talk about it, and he's fabulous. He's a wonderful guy.
So, Coach, you head into maybe they're all big at this point, but this is a really important week. You play the team. I'm sure you've talked about it amongst yourselves. Team that knocked you out of the conference tournament last year on Thursday, UNC Wilmington, and then the team on Saturday that won the conference last year and has arguably 2 of the top 5 best players in this conference. Your thoughts going into this week with Wilmington on Thursday and then Charleston on Saturday?
Yeah, this is a big basketball week. There's a lot of good teams every night. We're going to have to play really, really well to have a chance to win. Great respect for both of those programs. They win. They have good players. They're very well coached. We got our work cut out for us.
Well, Coach, we wish you good luck this week, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for joining us on the W. Mason Coach Report with head men's basketball coach, Joe Mihalich.